What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Common Sense, the podcast. Sorry for our longest delay of the year. We had our room hijacked for a little while, and then, Biz goes to Omaha for a weekend, and shit goes haywire. Haywire. Anyways, welcome to the show. We got Mike Follis here, one of my good friends.
How's it going?
Good, man. How are you doing?
I'm really good. Really good.
Fresh out of Lubbock. Got him here on the
I was
red
in Lubbock
eye.
yesterday. Got back this afternoon. Enough time to get a little work done and came up here.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you for coming out to the show.
Yeah, here. Cheers.
Cheers. I hope all you industry people are tuning in and ready for this. You guys have been asking and asking for more industry people. For my day job, you guys want more multi-family people here, so who better than to kick that off with this season than Mike?
Well, thanks.
Yeah, man. I think there's going to be a lot of people tuning in that are going to be looking for this.
I probably could have done a better job.
I mean, you're kind of a celebrity.
But I wasn't sure exactly what to expect or what I was going to get into. So I just, I didn't really throw it out there hard because who knows what me you're going to get.
You didn't put like banner on apartments.com and everything out there for us? All right.
Next time I'll have Jeff Goldblum give us a little bit of marketing for us.
All right. That'll work. We can work towards that. Well, for those of you who don't know, Mike Follis, he's a regional VP for apartments.com. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your background and where you're from and how you got into multifamily?
Okay. Well, how much time do we have?
Well, we got time. We got about an hour and a half, but we're going to go a little longer.
A little background on me. Born in Houston, raised there until I was about 12. My mom got remarried. We moved to Indiana. Indiana was fine.
Whoa. Do you put noodles in your chili?
No.
All right. Just had to make sure.
No. So I was there for, 6 years. That's where I graduated high school. As soon as I got out of high school, I was back in Texas. Went to Stephen F. Austin down in Nacogdoches for about 8 years, and finally graduated. So then I moved to Dallas and started working for I was waiting tables and bartending, of course, and then I waited tables on...
I can see you being a bartender.
Yeah. So... that was a great experience, and I've hired a lot of former waiters and bartenders because they're great at multitasking, and they obviously know how to talk to people. So, if you do that, you have a clear path to sales, in my opinion, if you can do that well. But anyway, I got off on that tangent. But I was bartending and waiting tables at Uncle Julio's at the Tollway in Color Springs back when it first opened.
Nice.
So I don't even want to tell you what that year was or even about where it was. But anyway, I waited tables on some a group of girls from office, and they were from their own office, And so I started talking to one of them, and I actually ended up realizing I knew another one that we actually worked together in college when I was a bartender and waiter in college.
Okay.
So anyway, long story short, she got me an interview. I started working for this advertising agency. It was called the Forbes Group. And I did that for about 4 years, and that kind of got me into sales, pitching new business and stuff like that. And then I happened to be at the Byron Nelson golf tournament. I don't know, this is in the mid-'90s, like when Tiger Woods was going hot, and Byron Nelson was the place to be on a Friday afternoon.
To go see Tiger.
Yeah, and then just be in the pavilion and that whole scene.
Yeah.
So anyway, I ran into this girl that I knew from a girl that I worked with. And she was there with her company, her boss. She actually worked for Apartment Guide. Her name is Shannon Cleveland. She's still in the business. So Precision Leasing, I believe, is where she is. But anyway, she was there with her bosses, and I just started hanging out with those guys. And next thing I know, like 2 weeks later, she calls me. She's like, "You want to interview for this job with Apartment Guide?" And so I interviewed, and that's how I got in the apartment business.
And you've been stuck ever since.
Yeah, so I did the Apartment Guide for 4 or 5 years, and then went to Apartment Finder in 2003. And then I really, CoStar bought us 8 years ago, 2015, is that 8 years ago? And that's how I got with apartments.com. So CoStar owns us, and here I am.
Awesome. How has your job evolved from that? Like, what did you start out doing with them? Just sales pitching into what you do now?
Yeah. So now, what I did before, when I was with Apartment Guide, I was a sales rep. I called on properties, and I still see, I'm this summer will be 24 years in the industry. So
Awesome.
1999 is when I started with Apartment Guide, and I was just a rep, and I saw a lot of managers and I got to know the business, and that's when I got involved in the apartment association, which I wouldn't be sitting in this chair talking to you. You wouldn't give a crap about me if I wasn't for the apartment association. You wouldn't even know me probably.
Right.
We're in the same industry, but that's how we.
Right. That's
met.
how we know each other is from the apartment association.
So I got involved in the apartment association and tried to go to all the events and meet as many people as I could, and then I got a job as a sales manager for Apartment Finder, and then I think it was a publisher because that was a book back in the day. We were selling print advertising, and so somewhere in that time period we started to transition to more internet-based. Anyway, so I've been in management for a long time, since probably 2003. And then that was apartments.com. I mean, that was a Apartment Finder. Then when CoStar bought us in 2015, I ended up getting the job as regional vice president, which is I oversee all of Texas, pretty much every neighboring state except for New Mexico, and like Wichita and Springfield, Missouri.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's my.
So
territory.
what all does apartments.com do for those that aren't in the industry and don't know about apartments.com?
So apartments.com is where you want to list any open apartment or open single family home even if you want to lease it. So Jeff Goldblum is our spokesperson. He goes by Brad Bellflower, and we do a ton of marketing, but we're marketing to people that want to rent an apartment. So that's where you want to list your open unit, your open house, whatever you have. That's where you want to list it. We're constantly doing advertising, reaching about 95% of all American households. So that's where you want to list.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
These guys have some of the biggest booths and the coolest advertisements you see in our industry when you go to the trade shows or any of the big events.
Yeah.
They're one of the big players. For sure.
Yeah, and that's CoStar. I mean, when CoStar swooped up apartments.com and then they bought Apartment Finder, then a few years later they bought For Rent, they scooped up all those former print publications and now ILSs. They scooped most of them up. And CoStar just stepped up their game, and at first it was a very intimidating place to work, honestly. I wasn't sure I was going to like it. I didn't like it for a while, but they've changed with us, and now that they understand multifamily, it's even better. But the marketing budgets, what they spend, everything they do is just first class, and that's
It
CoStar.
shows across the board.
So, yeah, I'm not trying to do a pitch for
Yeah.
CoStar, but it's a tough place to work. They demand a lot, but I mean, if you meet those demands and you have the expectations, you know what to expect. You know if things are going to change a lot.
Yeah.
You got to just change your focus on a dime at any time. If you can handle that, then it's good. It's great.
Yeah. How influential do you think being involved in the AATC, AAGD, TAA, all those different associations has been in your career?
It's made my career. I mean, it's kind of why I'm in the position I'm in.
Yeah.
I mean, because I know a lot of people, and I hopefully have a good name in the industry, and I think they want somebody running Texas, which is their biggest state. The Southwest region, and next to the Southeast region, is the biggest of our region. So it's it's very important.
Well, I'll say you absolutely do, because I know, excuse me, since I got involved, this is my 15th year with Element and in multifamily. So I know since I've got in, you're always somebody I've seen in the spotlight at any of the association stuff. I mean, you've been on all the big committees, you've been involved, you're at almost every major event. You've been up on those boards. Very recognizable in the industry. So, I mean, I definitely recognize that. I mean, you were someone that I tried to see what you were doing as another sales guy, although we don't sell the same thing.
Right.
But seeing how you maneuvered through those events and stuff like that. And I honestly haven't put as enough time as I would like into those things in the past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
It's something I've got to get a little more involved with, that I got so busy that fell to the wayside.
I mean, you got a podcast to run.
Well, you know, that's at night on my own time, but I mean, like, they have so many meetings.
Yeah, but a lot of that stuff's not on your own time. A lot of that stuff's at night.
They do stuff at night.
Yeah, and my involvement, honestly, I was lucky because when I first started, I didn't have kids.
Yeah.
And I didn't mind. I was like, they're paying me to go out and party.
Yeah.
And to entertain, and I was like blown away. You know, it was a lot of fun.
I get to go golf. And
I get to go golf and then hang out at the bar afterwards, and it's I forgot what my point was, but what was it? What was I talking about?
It's a lot harder though. Like
because once I had kids and stuff like that, it was a lot harder to be at those events, and I'm not as many as I used to be, but I go to a lot of. I used to go to a lot of the AGD, ATC stuff, and the local stuff, and I feel like I really do less of that than I do things in other markets, like like I just got back from Lubbock for the Lubbock Apartment Association golf tournament, and I'm going Thursday down to Houston for the Houston trade show. So I'm kind of spread out now, but those events at night kind of can get rough at times, and takes a lot from what you're doing.
They can be taxing. I mean, to go out and have to do that, like a lot of people from the outside looking in are like, oh, you get to go and drink from company dollar. You get to do this. There's a different level and standard you have to maintain when you're doing that stuff. Yeah. And it's a lot of responsibility because you're always in the public eye. Yeah,
and a lot of people have learned lessons the hard way on that. I mean, and I can't say I haven't learned lessons too. Hopefully, thankfully, not the hard way, but kind of a hard way. I mean, just you have to learn, especially when you're younger. You have to learn how to play it cool and know your limits, so to speak.
For sure. What all you get to travel a lot, and you handle the surrounding states. How has traveling changed or influenced your job over the last few years? Because I know you're doing more of that now.
Yeah, I mean I travel. It's again I most of my stuff's in Texas, so I'm a Southwest flight away from almost any of my markets. When I go to some of the smaller markets like Southwest Arkansas or something like that, I'll have to fly American, but I'm in Southwest. Left field's just so easy to get in and out.
Yeah,
it's just so and with clear and everything else, you can get through. I'm there 35 minutes before my flight typically. But it's not. My travel's not hard. Is what I was getting at. I mean, I'm in maybe 3 cities this week, which is odd. Normal month, I'm in 1 city three times a month. I travel 3 or 4 times a month. It just depends. But it's not that bad. It's good. I mean, it's cool. I mean, it's Texas, and I love Texas, so it's just fun to be able to spend time in San Antonio and spend time in Austin and down in Houston. Then you go into smaller markets like Midland and Odessa and Lubbock. It's just a great way to see the state. And then surrounding states. And it's cool if you go to Louisiana, how it's so different. It's just that close, but it's so different.
Yeah.
And Oklahoma's great too. I mean, people are awesome up there. I enjoy going up there. So I just like traveling where I travel. So it's cool.
That's awesome.
I couldn't pick I love my job. I couldn't pick a better job. I mean, it's just my territory, everything. It's awesome.
That's cool. I feel the same way about the company I work for. I get to go all over Texas. Granted, we don't do as much on the regular basis. I mean, majority of our stuff's here in DFW. Occasionally, we have a satellite office out in Phoenix that we open up when our clients are running markets out there, and we're getting ready to open an office out in Atlanta.
Oh, cool.
So that's coming up that I'll have to travel out there a little bit more and help get that kicked off the ground. But
there was a time I was when I was with Apartment Finder, I oversaw Atlanta. Until CoStar bought us, and so I used to go to Atlanta all the time, and I loved it. So, and the apartment association is awesome there. So, it's good. It's a good place to do business.
That's
for sure.
Cool. Who has been the most influential for you in the industry?
I would say well, it's definitely Marsha Bollinger. She was my boss's boss and my boss's boss's boss. When I first started. Then she, over time she became my boss, and she's been totally influential in my actual career and with my involvement in the apartment association. They both go hand in hand, but Marsha she's the person. She's if you know her, she's blonde, bleach blonde hair, always happy, always in a good mood, always got a ton of energy. I'm sure that everyone has seen her at some point that's been in the industry. So that's Marsha. She's, like I said, just progressing me and mentoring me throughout the years in my job. And we've really been together for almost this whole 24 years that I've been in the industry. She's been way up there running the show at times, and I've been lower on the rung. But I've worked with Marsha almost my entire career. So she's done it all, and she understands the apartment association, how important that is as well. So her letting me be able to do that, and us being a company that always supported the association was a big part of all that for me personally. I'm lucky that I was with a company that would invest and knew.
Let you do those things.
Yeah. They knew it was right to invest with the apartment association. So I've been blessed in that regard too. But Marsha's been hands down the best mentor for me.
Awesome.
Yep.
Have you had any mentors outside of your company that have been very influential or helped you along the way?
Oh man, I have father and stepfather that were very, influential in my life, and mentors that I've leaned on a lot until each one of them passed away. Not so, pretty recently, but John Mitchell was with. He ran the apartment association in Tarrant County. I've been involved with them for I don't know, 20 years, close to 20-year run.
Yeah.
Somewhere around when we were talking about Darnell earlier.
Yeah.
Somewhere around his time, when he was president there. That was probably before you even, right, maybe when you just got involved.
No, Darnell was right when I was getting in.
Yeah.
Or shortly thereafter. Really when I started selling.
Yeah.
Was when Darnell was.
Yeah.
I used to bug the hell out of Darnell. That's how Darnell and I became friends.
Yeah.
Because when I started at Element, my boss came to me and said, all right, I spent the first 3 years estimating for my boss to learn everything.
Right.
And then after that, I had to build up my own clientele to go full-time sales. Well, he told me very early on, you had to pick one of the big guys, and then, you needed a handful of others to be successful.
Yeah.
I said, okay. Well, I was thinking about who the other sales guys at the time had as big clients, who he had. And the only company I could think of, because I had an apartment there, was Lincoln.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I said Lincoln.
They were the biggest in Dallas at that time anyway.
Yeah. And he just started laughing at me. And he's
you're going to
I'm like,
kill the 100-pound gorilla
He's
thing?
like, you're going to go chase the 100-pound gorilla.
Yeah.
I got news for you. I've been trying to do that for a long time. There's this guy, Ken Schwartz. You're never going to get through to him, and good luck. He holds the key to everything you want to do.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, challenge accepted, asshole. Tell me I can't do something. All right, now this is number one goal.
Right.
So that is how Darnell and I became friends, because Darnell was president at the time, and I would see Darnell and everything. I'm like, all right, he's the Lincoln guy. So I would berate Darnell every chance I got. Hey man, what do you have going on? How can I get a meeting with Ken Schwartz? And he would talk to me and entertain me and, all that stuff for years. Yeah. And finally, when they started doing the business exchange, he came to me and he's like, you want your chance? Here's your chance.
Yeah.
I got him to come to this. He doesn't want to be here. Yeah. He's coming.
Yeah.
He ain't going to be here long. So go get 2 beers, 2 Budweisers, stand in line, and get to see him whenever you can.
Yeah.
That's your chance.
Yeah.
I said, all right. I did it. And, ever since then, the rest is history. Lincoln's been one of my best customers and a lot of great friends there for many years now. So, that's actually how Darnell and I became friends, was from me harassing him all the time, trying to get my foot in the door with Lincoln.
Yeah.
And now we're really good friends. You know, I
Yeah.
talked to Darnell quite a bit, and he was the first person in the industry I had on the podcast. It ended up being a really fun show.
Yeah.
We talked about things I never thought out of all the years I've known Darnell, like we ended up having these awesome conversations, but it was the last thing I would have expected just because we'd never had half of those conversations.
Yeah.
And I've known the guy for over 10 years.
I haven't hung out with him a lot recently, but I did play golf with him a few times, and he's a super interesting guy.
Yeah.
Like, super smart guy. Like,
how's your golf game going right now?
It's been better. It's hard to tell with the scramble. You know? But
did you go down for the Challenge Cup this year?
Yeah.
How was that? I heard Dallas won.
We won. Yeah.
By a hair.
I think it was more than a hair.
Was it a hair? I know at one point it was pretty close.
I think it was actually tied after the first day.
Okay.
So it was tied after Thursday afternoon, and then we had all the singles matches, or two-man team matches, I guess they were. So we blew them away on Friday, but it was tied on Thursday night after the first round.
So for those of you that don't know, they have a Riders Cup challenge in the associations. And it is Dallas versus Houston, pretty much. And you have to have a serious golf game to get in this. On the vendor side.
Oh, yeah.
On the vendor side, you better be close to a scratch golfer or at least below a 10 handicap, or you're not getting it.
I somehow got grandfathered in on that, or I just got in one time maybe when they needed somebody in a pinch. I can't remember how I really got in. I was definitely a better golfer at the time. And that was probably 10 years ago at least. So, you do have to be a real good golf coach. You got people that you work with that they're way,
Yeah,
they're awesome.
Element
They're like
has
big on our
always
team.
had really good golfers, and it sucks for me because
then you don't
I'm
get,
okay,
you don't get the
but
call
I'm not
for,
that good. Like, they don't want me coming out there. They want, when Greg worked with us, they wanted Greg out there because, Greg's a scratch golfer. You know, they want Mason out there.
Mason's a big part of our team this year for Dallas.
Cool, man. That kid can hit the ball a mile. He's a monster. Yeah. And then he has the short game touch. It's unbelievable to see a big guy like that go out there and swing it so effortlessly.
Maybe you were there. Were you there? Maybe hanging out with him last year?
Last year I went down.
And we finished our match early. I was with him, and I think we won on the 11th or 12th hole.
Yeah.
And I wasn't with Mason, but we caught up with Mason a little bit after that and played. We finished up playing, the rest of the 18 from there, but that guy bombed it and had this butter touch around the greens.
It's insane, man.
Yeah.
One of the last times I played with him, I was like, I don't have a club that goes 100 to 115 in my bag. I was like, everything's either under or over that. I was like, I keep ending up in these 105-yard shots. He's like, hit this. Hands me a 50-degree wedge.
Yeah.
I hit it, put it right within 2-3 feet of the pin at 110 yards.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm buying that off of you, or I'm stopping on my way home. I stopped on my way home and bought a 50-degree wedge.
Yeah, there you go.
No, it was absolutely crazy.
But you're not bad though. You've gotten a lot better over the years, right?
I'm getting better.
Don't play as much as
I'm getting better. Yeah, I haven't lately. I have not been able to play as much as I used to. I have a big trip I take every year in October. I go to Myrtle Beach and play with a bunch of my Canadian friends. I go pretty hardcore. Starting next month, I'll go back to my guy I take some lessons from. I'll start tuning up my game. I'll hit up the driving range on my lunch hour and stuff like that and start trying to get better. At my best, I'm I'd say I'm about a 14, 15 handicap.
Okay.
So, I got to get the short game consistency down to be able to put up lower numbers than that.
Yeah.
And that takes practice.
I'm not much better. I think my handicap's a 12. It fluctuates 12-1 to 11-9. And I just can't consistently shoot where I used to shoot, which is mid 80s, low 80s. I'm more struggling to get to high 80s right now. Yeah. Which is it's fine. I just don't have a lot of time to work on it, but I'm trying.
High 80s is about my best day right now. If I shoot anything below a 93 right now, I am super happy with that right now because I've been all over the place.
I just need to keep the ball. If I can keep the ball in play off the tee, and hit it I don't care if I hit it 225 now. I mean, I'd like to hit 250 or 260, which I still can. I just got to have that.
It don't matter,
I got to
though.
have that perfect swing for me. But if I can get it on the fairway,
you're good.
I'm good. I mean, I'm crappy enough now that I've missed so many greens in my life. My short game's gotten better. You know what I mean?
Right.
So one of these days, when I actually start hitting the ball really solid, and my short game is better than it used to be, I might get better. But that's why we keep playing golf, I guess. Because it's probably not going to happen. But
for sure. And that's where we seem to run into each other a lot. 'Cause playing the course around here, I usually run into you and your son. Out on the course at the most random.
And that's
times.
Yeah, that's maybe a Friday afternoon or late afternoon. We'll try to. Especially when he was younger, we would try to do that. It's probably been 3 or 4 years I've seen him, but now he's playing golf in high school, and
nice.
he
So
plays.
Is he whooping the old man?
Oh yeah, he beats me. We haven't played a ton together this spring yet, but as they're about to get out of school, we'll start playing more. But I beat him occasionally because he kind of falls apart around me for some reason. But
Start talking trash.
But he completely, a little bit for sure. He's a pretty good, solid player. And we played in a scramble actually a couple weeks ago on a Saturday that we happened to have open, and I think we shot maybe 4 over, which was not bad for us.
Nice.
For 2-man scramble.
Yeah.
No mulligans and nothing. Maybe we were a little lower than that even. I can't remember, but we were right at the tail end of the first or second flight. But anyway, it's fun. I get to kind of hang out with him when he's taking lessons and hit some balls and stuff like that. So he's still at the golf course. I'm not with him now.
I got
those crazy times when we used to run into each other.
So what is for somebody, either or, what would you say would be some good advice, like sales advice you would give an upcoming salesperson in the multifamily industry? I'm
glad that you told that story about when you went after Lincoln.
Yeah.
Because it got me to thinking as you were telling it. We've hired a lot of new reps in the last year or so. We've actually just expanded our sales force. We haven't had turnover, but it's really good to get someone fresh in there that doesn't know any better to try to tackle Lincoln.
Yeah.
So don't get caught up in what someone says can't be done. Just go about it like you did with Darnell. Just become to know the person. Become whoever you're meeting with. Just become to know them and get to know them, and don't always be selling them. But also, just in your mind, just don't be afraid. Again, like I said, to go after the one they say you can't get it done.
Yeah.
And
just because they're Goliath doesn't mean you can't do business with them.
And that's one of the reasons we'll switch up territories and management companies that our reps work, is just because maybe somebody different is good at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe they can overcome a hurdle that they can't get over, or we can find a way that rep can find a way to get more of their business.
Yeah. I always think it's important to tell sales guys that come in or out, new or, guys that are changing roles a little bit, that it's going to take you, that's the one thing early on I felt kind of slighted, because when I first took my job, my boss told me it would take me, a year or two and I'd be in sales.
Yeah.
It took me almost 3 years. For a while there, I was kind of like, man, did I screw up? Did I make the bad decision,
Yeah.
But it really
But that was your goal, was to get into sales from the get-go?
Yeah, the role was to be there to transition, to be his estimator for a while, really learn, because I came from an insurance background where I was doing residential adjusting.
Yeah. So
it was to kind of learn that, go from there, and then as I built up enough clients, I could transition into that.
Yeah.
So I felt kind of slighted for a little while because it was taking longer than I expected. But as you know, once you're in multifamily, you may go somewhere else, but you're going to stay in multifamily, because the reason that is that it takes you 3 years to attend all these things, be at all these events, be around these people, and get to know them.
Yeah.
Like, not just sell them, to get to know them, become friends with them, learn, network, and do all those things, because it's going to take time, because they want to see that you're not going to just bounce around, and that you're somebody that they know they can call on, and it's going to be there consistently and do what you say you're going to do.
That's if you ask me a question a different way, I would answer it the way you just did it. Like, you have to take it slow and earn the trust and under promise and over deliver. And once you do that a few times, you know, you have trust and you have a customer, you know? So it just takes time, and you can't, it won't happen overnight. You know, and I was telling him, I mean, I went to college, I studied business in college and graduated and everything, but I didn't learn a trade. You know, I'm not an accountant, I'm not a computer guy, you know, I don't really have a trade. I'm certainly not a doctor or a lawyer.
Right.
I mean, I always know that, like, I have the multifamily industry. That's my trade, multifamily. Yeah. I mean, luckily I've done only marketing, you know, but there's been times when our companies have been bought and things like that you don't know what's going to happen. So you have to see, well, what would I do if things happen? And you know, there's other vendor companies in the industry you just get involved with, and you're solid. But there's a lot of options once you're established in multifamily. You don't want to go somewhere else and start over.
Yeah, you don't, because it takes years. Yeah. It's not something you can just jump into and expect immediate gratification. Mm-hmm. You know, you have to build those skills and build those social networks. Together with those people. For sure. I've always preached that to any of the guys. The same thing with the estimators that are coming up, even if they don't project or think that they're going to go into sales. Same thing. You're out there dealing with the maintenance guy, the leasing agents, the assistant managers, all those people that to you at that particular time, that might not be your target. But that person eventually is going to be your target. Because eventually they're going to be a manager, a head of construction, a maintenance director, a regional VP, something like that. Like, it's going to happen. So you got to make sure you're always treating them the same way too.
I mean, you know, I could name a long list of, you know, presidents of companies, RVPs. I mean, top level positions. People that I used to, when I was with the apartment guy, I used to call in, and they were in the leasing office. You know, they were a manager, or they were a leasing agent, or they were assistant manager, all of them. But you have to you need to communicate with all of them, and they're all important. So it's, and just like you said, from a sales perspective, they will be important if they're not down the road.
What have you done to balance that, or is there anything you've learned along the way from trial and error that really helped you with any of that?
You know, I always just try to treat people with respect. You know, I mean, it doesn't matter who I'm dealing with. If it's part of my job, or I'm at the grocery store and someone bagging my groceries, you know, everyone has a job to do. And so I just treat everyone I come across on site or in the industry with respect, you know, and they may not be super important to me, but at this point, from a sales perspective, but they will. I went on a couple of property visits this morning, and we talked to a first person we called on. The owner of the company was in the other office, and you could see him. He was interviewing somebody, and there was a leasing agent that had been on site for a couple months. And so we sat down with her and went through their ad, and she didn't really know much about it. But so it's important that we informed her, and we took that opportunity. Obviously, we would rather have met with the owner, and we were kind of trying to track him down because they knew he was going to be at one of the properties. You know how that goes. But he was busy with the interview, so we talked to her, and you know, hopefully down the road she's going to be more informed with apartments.com, and she's going to tell her manager and everything else. So, I think.
You know, I had an interesting experience last weekend that you made me think of when we were talking about this. It's restored my faith in the younger generation. So I was actually up here hanging out. I was here for a couple hours. Without me knowing, my wallet fell out in one of these seats up here. Like, they trap you. They'll steal your stuff. Right? Well, I was stopping at the grocery store over at Market Street on my way home, pick up some stuff to make for dinner. I get to the grocery store. I do my shopping.
Thank God they have Apple Pay at Market Street.
It was
It's
down.
happened to me before.
It was
Oh, really?
down. So I get done. I've got a whole cart of groceries. I'm checking out. No wallet. Hold on a second. I tell this kid, Michael McHale at Market Street in Frisco. I'm going to give this kid a shout out. I know he doesn't listen to my podcast, but still worth mentioning for any of you that shop there.
Yep.
This kid goes, no worries, go check a car, whatever. I come back in. I was like, hey, man, my wallet is 15 minutes away. He's like, you got your Apple Pay or any of that? I was like, yeah, we tried it. It was down. Didn't work. It's like, okay. He goes, well, I can set your groceries over here if you want. You can go get your wallet and come back. He's like, do you have like Zelly? I'm like, yeah, I have Zelle. He's like, if you want, I'll pay for your groceries and you can just Zelly me the money. I mean, I had like $200 worth of groceries.
Yeah.
And this like 16-year-old kid with braces is sitting there doing checkout. Probably his first
that
job.
would renew my faith in
I was
the younger
like,
generation
are you
as well.
serious, man? I was like,
cool.
I'll do it right now. I tipped the kid, and he's like, you didn't need to send me more money. I was like, no, thank you. You just saved me 30 minutes, 15 going there, back, and stuff not getting cold or hot, whatever, You just saved my ass. Like, thank you. Being kind. Like, absolutely.
That guy needs, somebody needs to contact his manager at Market Street.
You know what the sad part was? I went and tracked down a lady who I thought was the manager, went up and asked her, I said, are you the manager? She said, no. What can I help you with? I said, I would just like to talk to a manager. I'd like to give somebody a compliment. She said, okay. She walks behind. She's standing in the door behind customers over open. The person is obviously sitting right there, and she tells them, and they were like, I don't have time for this right now. And she came out, and I told her, I was like, hey, this is what I was trying to do. I just want to get this kid some recognition. He did something very kind, went out of his way. She's like, absolutely, he's an awesome kid. I will make sure they find out about this. Okay. But I was like, man, the one time somebody actually does something worth praising, and the manager won't even come out of the back to let you tell them that one of their
thumbs up on Market Street still, though.
Market Street. I mean, I got my business. Like, that was absolutely awesome.
Good stuff there. And I have, luckily, Apple Pay worked when I've been there probably at least twice where I was like, hell, where's my wallet? But thank God for Apple Pay, bailed me out at Market Street. But Kroger doesn't have it. I don't think H-E-B has it either. So
I don't brave H-E-B. At least I wouldn't brave the one over here. The one by my house has gotten a lot better.
I haven't been in that one yet.
It looks get in and out decently.
But this one's getting better. The one over here in Frisco. I still won't do my full on shopping there, or but I'll go in there. I'll get one of those little carts, not one of the big carts.
Yeah.
But it's getting not as crowded. You can get a little cart around there, pretty good.
Yeah, they just had like a big knockdown, drag out fight, and the one I saw on like Instagram like a week or so ago.
They have a security guard right there.
They keep them there all the time. Now.
Yeah, I mean, I rolled on there on a Sunday morning the other day, and he was there on a rainy Sunday morning. Like there's nothing going to be going down there at that point, but he's there all the time.
Yeah.
Or
Let's
somebody's
see.
there.
We've got some people popping in here. Let's see if we got questions, because everybody wanted industry people, so hopefully we got some industry people on here asking questions. What is up, Lee? What's up, Donna? We got Donna back in here. Donna's been MIA for a little while. Give Donna a little bit of a hard time. And yes, there is no better party than an Element party. I agree with you, absolutely. Oh, we even got Randy Rivers in here.
I know Randy.
Yeah, Randy's a good cat.
Guy.
You ever golfed with Randy?
No, I don't think we've ever played. I think I think he actually offered me an opportunity one time to play when I wasn't playing, but I was at the hole that we did a closest to the pin putt or something like that.
He made you a ridiculous bet.
I had to monitor that. Like I was a person running that. It was like right after COVID, and so we didn't want a lot of our people out. But anyway, Randy, they had an extra spot, and Randy offered me. It's like, hey, you just want to play with us? And I'm like, I really, really do.
Yeah.
But I couldn't because I had to take care of that sponsorship thing we had.
Yeah. So. Well, I'll try to put that together next time we're playing and get you out there
good
with
guy, though.
Randy. Randy is super fun to golf with.
Yeah.
I love golfing with Randy.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is Randy has a strategy to beat me, and usually I'm waxing him on the front nine, and then he gets me absolutely hammered to where he waxes me on the back nine. Mm-hmm. But the best part is if Randy's having an off day, he talks to himself in the third person.
Okay.
And he'll start yelling Randy Rivers at himself.
He doesn't call himself Randy or
it is
whatever
awesome.
cuss word. He just calls himself Randy Rivers.
Oh, yeah. He throws it all in there, gets it going. Yeah. I left you to play. Yeah, something like that, Randy.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Well, what do you got upcoming for apartments.com? What's the big things you guys got coming up?
Let's see. We have HAA in Houston this week, but NAA is coming up first. I think the first week in June.
That's in Atlanta this year, isn't it?
It's in Atlanta, and they've moved it up in the month. Usually, it's more like mid to late June. So I threw off one of my golf tournaments that I do with Preston, that Michigan trip. So that's a conflict.
You should tell Preston I should fill in for you. See what he says about that.
Yeah, we'll see.
Need to get Garrett in there. I'm sure Preston would love that. I'm surprised he didn't jump on here as much shit as he's been giving me lately.
Probably. But anyway, so I won't be able to. Unfortunately, I won't be able to do the golf trip this weekend or this year. So that sucks. But NAA is coming up in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And we have we'll have probably the biggest booth there at NAA, like we typically do, and we're giving away $100,000.
What?
Yeah. So we're giving away $100,000.
Wow.
Usually we give away.
You're topping the car that gets giveaway.
Well, usually we do a Tesla.
Yeah.
At NAA at NAA, and we'll usually do a Tesla with some cash, usually to cover the taxes, I think, which is probably over $100,000 anyway.
Yeah.
But this year they're just giving away the cash. So if you're in the industry person and you come by and you're an owner manager, not a vendor, you could.
Damn, I was gonna go talk to my bosses. Be like, we gotta go sign up now.
Yeah, that's part of the details on the sweepstakes. That it has to be an owner manager, not a vendor company. Although there's a lot of companies like you guys that use CoStar, our information, our CoStar info.
Yeah.
That we have on multifamily. They use that a lot too. So they are technically CoStar clients. So they can win. And actually one of them has won before.
Nice.
Some company.
Yeah, because you guys put out those, like, you can sign up and get the, like, database info to where when properties change hands.
Yeah. And you can dig in and see who the true owners of them are and everything like that. So, and you can dig in, almost unit by unit information if you need it. So, it's a lot of the vendors use CoStar as well.
So I know you're a bourbon guy. I brought some different things out trying to find stuff you probably hadn't had. What's your go-to?
My go-to?
Yeah.
Like my everyday bourbon kind of fluctuates. I like to get them in the bigger bottle.
Yeah.
So, because it's my everyday bourbon, right?
Yeah,
I'm not talking about buying nice. So I like Bullet. What is it?
Bullet's a good one.
I think I have a bottle of, is it 1862, 1842? I can't remember.
I don't know what you're talking
what I'm talking about?
1792.
1792, I think is it. Yeah. Thanks, Biz. Yeah. I have, that's what I have, my big bottle is, but I have.
What do you mean it's just looking at you, Biz? You started the whiskey weight loss. Aren't you drinking that every night as part of your routine?
So here's the deal. I had a phone call with Alex today, and he told me because I'm trying to do bourbon the right way so I can be a little more educated, becoming one of your dear friends. So he told me tonight when I leave the podcast to go get a bottle of Woodford, but it's the wheat with the red label.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
He said that's more of a beginner. It's not as oomph on it, but it's still got all the flavor to it. Because I told him I wanted to have a bourbon on my patio tonight when I got done with work. And he says that's where I should start.
Look at Alex. Alex went and became a bourbon steward this week.
Down in Austin,
and now he's dropping bourbon knowledge.
Well, I had a testimony and I said, hey, you just went and got all the certification. I got bottles on my bar, but I don't know what that. Basil Hayden is the only thing I know that I have.
Look at Donna coming in strong with that 1792.
And I have a bottle of 17.
Yeah.
I have two bottles of Eagle Rare.
Eagle Rare is, that's good.
Then I got some scotches that just look cute. They're Glenfiddich thingies. Like I have a 14 Glenfiddich. I just buy shit. I don't know what I'm doing with it. Just I know when people come over, they smile. That's it.
Yeah.
So now I want to actually know what I'm doing when I pop open a bourbon and drink it. So he said for me to start there. Or just
Yeah.
go to your house and looks like specks upstairs.
What are you talking about?
My bad.
You know,
My
it's,
bad.
it's
I only
fun.
have like 10 bottles, Biz.
So
Of one kind.
I'm the same way with wine. I mean, I like to drink, especially like a nice Cabernet, but
Yeah.
I know it tastes good, but I can't tell you like all the ins and outs and notes and all that stuff.
I'm the same way for the most part. I mean, yeah. I mean, I have a
I mean, at
pretty
least you
good
drink
knowledge.
it neat. You have a better chance to really get a hold of it. I drink it on the rocks typically.
It comes to wine. Give
You know
me
what?
a $10 bottle of that Menage a Trois or something blended. As long as it's good, it goes with
Yeah.
whatever I'm eating.
Yeah,
I'm cool.
I can't. Yeah, I can't really tell the difference between a $10 bottle of wine
And
and
exactly.
a $40 or
I
bottle
can
of
tell a
wine.
difference. I can't tell you what those differences
Yeah, I
are.
can't. Yeah.
And,
I can
and
tell a
that's-
difference too. I can. There's just a.
That's
sometimes
the
a
way the
bitterness,
same
just
thing
A
with a
certain
lot of
nuance
those.
about it.
Yeah.
One's smoother than the other. Or
Yeah.
hits you in a different way. But yeah.
I'm the same way with a lot of the bourbons. I mean, I like an ice rock in mine every now and then. I mean, it depends on what I'm drinking. Depends on how high the proof is, too. Mm-hmm. I mean, right now, just because I'm getting ready to go to Mexico and I'm kind of watching calories, trying to get rid of a few more pounds that I'm stuck at right now, I'm drinking some very low proof. That's something Alex goes over in his program. We had Alex on here.
Yeah.
Biz and I are both doing the whiskey weight loss program.
Yeah.
So drinking something lower proof, like this one's 80 proof, versus if I go to what I'd really like to drink and probably doing, this one's 116 proof. So
Yeah,
there's
that's what I had started off with.
20 or so more calories in that one than there is the other one.
Oh, yeah.
And then more alcohol. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
a little more alcohol, a little more
So-
bang for your buck.
That's what I mean. I don't really love the higher proof ones. I mean, they're good, but just for me, it doesn't matter what.
107.
I'll drink it.
Yeah.
The same. You know what I mean? So the less.
Yeah.
Just for my own good.
Yeah.
Not just for the alcohol purposes.
Right.
Not for weight loss. It's just
Yeah.
the lower proof ones I kind of lean to.
107 to 120 is kind of my sweet spot. That's where I really like most of my bourbons, in that range. Like I don't mind a 129 or a 130 something if it doesn't drink like that. I'm not a person that chases proof.
Yeah.
That's not a big thing.
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
cask strength, barrel strengths.
Yeah.
I like some of them, but not all of them. I kind of bounce all over there.
It's just like they think that like if you can make it good at that proof, then you're really doing something special almost,
Yeah.
So they covet it a little bit more. But I was thinking earlier too, when I was talking about what's like everyday bourbon or whatever. Like it used to be, I think we talked about this at TA. I used to be able to buy a big bottle of the Buffalo Trace.
Yeah.
And when I was younger and then was a little poor, I used to drink Weller in
Yeah.
a big bottle. I mean, my friends would make fun of me for drinking Weller.
Yeah.
Hey, how many Wellers you can have tonight or whatever? I mean, maybe it wasn't a Weller they were making fun of, but
Yeah.
how many are you going to have tonight? But there was like, Weller, it was nothing, right?
Yeah, and you're drinking Antique 107 or a 12-year Weller.
Yeah. And it was just that run-of-the-mill Weller that, but now you can't find it anywhere. Mm-hmm. And I mean, they have kept the price low, but it's,
But it's allocated now, so
it's
harder to
allocated.
find.
You can't find it in Texas.
I mean,
especially.
I blame the beer snobs for that because about 7 or so years ago, before COVID, you had this big switch where all these craft distilleries came out for doing craft beer.
Yeah.
And it killed the spirit industry. Like,
Oh.
beer was outselling everything. Like, beer was just killing it. Mm-hmm. So you had all these guys. Well, then you had these bourbon clubs start forming up and all this bourbon stuff come out. You used to be able to go find Blanton's and, like you said,
Yeah.
107, 12-year Weller, Eagle Rare. Eagle Rare was $19 a bottle. Like, you could find it on the shelf, just walk in, grab it, no big deal. Bland's was like $29, $34, something stupid cheap. And nobody gave a shit. Like,
Right.
people chased scotch and paid big money for, like, old scotches, but nobody was buying expensive bourbons. And then
Yeah.
they started promoting craft cocktails.
Yep.
And then these higher allocated bottles. And then it just blew up. And then they got all those craft distilleries started getting bought up by the big brands, and they started bottling them. Well,
Yeah.
then those the beer nerds said, "Oh, it's not cool anymore." You know, Anheuser-Busch bought my company,
Right.
or whatever,
Right.
and then they
Yeah.
didn't want to drink it anymore.
Right.
It lost its coolness, you
Right.
know. So
They switched it to something
then
else.
then the bourbon started coming back, and then by the
Yeah.
time COVID hit, people couldn't do anything but go buy alcohol and sit at home.
Yep.
So everybody was raiding every store you could find, and then even stuff that was a little allocated became highly allocated, and so on and so on. Now there's a lot of people sitting on bourbon because they bought a shit ton, but like myself, there's no way I could ever drink all the bourbon I have. But the market sucks for selling right now. Like you selling bourbon right now, you're lucky if you break even. You're probably not making a profit unless you might even be taking a loss on a lot of bottles, unless it's something that is super allocated or a lot older.
So you and other people buy, I'm sure y'all do, bourbon for profit, like you're gonna sell it?
Oh yeah. I mean, like a lot
yeah,
of
it
the
was an
bottles.
investment.
A lot of the bottles I bought, like when I got the chance, I bought two.
Okay.
One that I could
One-
drink and try, and the
Yeah.
other one I could sell when I wanted to.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guarantee you, I have easy 100 bottles right now that I would sell if somebody wanted to buy them.
Oh yeah. And where do you keep
Easy.
them?
At my house.
Okay.
Yeah, I have set up a bar in my house. I have a bar in my house, but I also have a display wall
Okay.
that
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have converted.
No, you don't. Remember?
Yeah.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
See, he's got a couple in me now. I'm
Where's that
telling stories.
relation to your pool and all that stuff? Or your backyard
don't have a
setup?
pool.
Not just your whole backyard.
I do not have a
setup.
pool. I do not have a pool.
You see how he's trying to get up off the backyard conversation?
You guys are tag teaming me now. This is brutal. No,
Okay, you know what? I could describe it this way. The backyard is kind of nice. So nice that anything you've ever wanted to do, you can do in his backyard.
All right.
Anything.
Yeah.
Just think of it. It happens in
it's
his
my
backyard.
outdoor oasis. It's like my
There you
outdoor
go.
man cave.
Yeah.
So, I mean, me and my wife, we don't have kids, so a lot of people need to, remember that.
Yeah.
So I joke with some of my friends, I'm like, I just have your kids' private school tuition on my wall over there.
Right, right. Yeah.
I don't have to spend that money on that stuff, so I get to buy stuff like that.
Yeah.
Same reason when they bitch and moan about how much it costs to go on vacation. All I have to do is board my dog.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
either got to get family or somebody to watch the kids,
Or you got to
pay
take them
for-
damn human beings with you.
Take them with you,
Man.
and they cost a whole lot of money,
yeah.
I mean, so, yeah, no, my wife and I, we like spending time outside. She's definitely not letting me smoke a cigar in the house.
Yeah.
So I created the backyard where I could do all that. So, I mean,
Now's the time of year to take advantage of it.
I mean, we spend a lot of time out there. I've actually spent less time here at the lounge in the past 3 months because I just sit on my back patio. I come up here, maybe smoke a stick, and then I grab sticks and take them to the house and go sit out back and
Yeah.
just enjoy the weather.
Chill. Yeah.
Although I've got to figure out some shade screens and get rid of this wind tunnel I've created, because anytime the wind's out of the north, it will kick your ass. It's brutal. But I'm zero lot line, so I don't have a big backyard.
You just squeezed it all in there.
I just
Yeah.
squeezed it all in there, left enough grass for my dog to have his little space, and
Yeah.
rock and roll.
Yeah, that's. Man, I mean, we have a pool that we put in a couple of years ago, and
We went
We don't-
hot tub.
we don't-
I did not want to take care of a pool.
yeah, it's not.
And a hot tub's not much better because you still have to treat it and clean the filters and do all that once a week. So it's
Yeah.
not much better.
Yeah. Well, I don't. I pretty much let it run kind of almost dormant. I mean, I keep the pump running in the winter and stuff
Yeah.
like that, but I don't pump chemicals in it or anything like that.
Salt water or fresh water?
Just fresh water.
Okay. I know
Yeah.
the saltwater ones now, you really don't have to do much once
Yeah.
you get them going.
Yeah. I just heard that the saltwater ones, the salt, just having that salt in the air, it ruins your furniture and
It gets crusted all over just like the ocean
takes a
does.
toll on the house, anything that's downwind, or wherever close to it. So anyway, we got that pool and we're busy, but I didn't do a built-in kitchen or anything like that, but I got a couple grills out there, and there's a lot of space. I got a Blackstone, like a 3-burner Blackstone.
How do you like the Blackstone?
Oh, we love it. I mean, I love it.
Because I just broke in. I got a griddle.
Yeah.
Blaze griddle.
Yeah.
I didn't buy the Blackstone, but I got a Blaze one, and I just broke it in this last weekend.
Oh, you did?
I'm starting it.
Yeah,
I
it's
need to
cool.
find like a good utensil kit that is for a griddle. Because like you almost need like those hibachi type like.
I had, well, yeah. You should
that's
order
what
one
I
of those.
need.
When I bought my Blackstone, I ordered it off HomeDepot.com, and they suggested, you know how they give you what other people bought with.
Yeah.
You know, they bought this one. They bought the same item. They suggested that one of these things, and it had like 2 of those little kind of flipper deals, spatulas, I guess you call them, and another kind of a grill scraper kind of thing. And that's all I really use, and then I use tongs and stuff like that. But
Yeah, that's what I need to do. 'Cause
Yeah,
you
you
know
need
what
to
my
get that little
dumbass
kit.
did this weekend? I just grabbed one of the spatulas out
big
of the
ones?
kitchen.
And you scraped
It
it.
was rubber.
Oh, then
and
you
it
couldn't
was
do nothing on it.
hot,
Well, you were better
it
off.
melted the end of it, so then I had to stop, clean it off,
Yeah,
pull it
yeah,
off
yeah.
a little bit, and I
Yeah.
was like, that was really dumb. I just
Yeah.
killed a spatula.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, you wouldn't do that with a regular, like a propane grill either.
Yeah,
obviously,
no,
so.
it was one of those like really dumb
I
moments,
had-
where
I
you
had-
just
yeah.
grab something like that.
I had a propane grill, and then I got rid of that when I got the Blackstone, and I have a Traeger, just a regular Traeger.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a grill too.
Yeah, a pellet smoker.
Yeah. So
Traegers are cool. I ended up doing the Rectech, same thing,
Yeah.
just made in the U.S.
Yeah, yeah.
I love the shit out of that. I cook on that all the time, which I like it so much. I haven't until this last weekend. I went to make breakfast tacos.
Yeah,
out there on the griddle.
Yeah.
That's what got me doing that. But I mean, I'd prefer just to smoke it, but I have to be careful. I bought like 4 bags of those pellets.
Yeah.
And I got the competition like mix blend.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't thinking about that. My wife is like highly allergic to like mesquite and cedar.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it definitely has that
Got a
in
lot of
there.
mesquite, I'm
So
sure.
when that thing's cooking up, man, I have to
Yeah.
turn the fans on, try to
Yeah.
blow it out as much. And she'll wake up in the morning, her eyes will look like Mike Tyson beat her up, you know.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I mean, like, we got to burn through that so I can get some different pellets.
Yeah,
that
you'll have to be like real particular about the pellets you use, because I use a blend. That's all I
Yeah.
use. When I first got it, I had recipes I would be following. It would recommend what pellets, what wood you were want to smoke them on. So,
What's your favorite thing to do on there?
man, I just do. I don't know. I guess I don't really have
Simple
a favorite.
stuff.
Just, I mean, obviously I got it to do like briskets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But honestly, I don't do briskets that often. Because we don't eat a lot of leftovers at my house. We have 2 kids, and so there's 4 of us. But I like doing the briskets on there. But I did one for Easter, and I bought one at HEB that was already trimmed. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, sweet! That's my least favorite part is trimming it. But anyway, I overcooked it, which kind of sucks. When you only do it a couple times a year. So, but
Yeah.
I'll cook. I mean, I cook steaks on there. I'll go to Market Street and buy the wings and just throw those on there. We have an event on the Traeger.
Yeah.
And just smoke them.
Well, I'll give my buddy a little shout out.
Yeah, it's
'cause,
hands-free.
If you want one of the best briskets you've ever had in your life, because I just had a couple things catered, my buddy Mark Sharon Meats, that dude is off the chain. I'll put what Mark does up against any barbecue place in Texas.
No, I'm going to go south. I'll put him
I
up
said
against,
in Texas.
I'm going to say the south.
All right, South.
The
This
South.
is
In
going
the
that way.
South.
In the
This
south.
dude is phenomenal.
Where is it at?
He's up around like Lucas.
Lucas, he lives in Lucas.
Lucas.
Yeah. He's,
He caters.
Oh, and he
I
just-
mean, you can go to him. He'll bring it to you. Just depends on what you're trying to
Yeah.
do. This dude has like a 1,000-gallon smoker.
yeah, it's pretty
Like,
dope.
you've never
That's
seen
dope.
anything like this. He had it custom built. It's amazing. He makes these brisket bomb jalapenos.
Yes.
They are
Man, those
the
things are
shit.
awesome.
I called this dude up. I bought steak the other day. Was it because you can call him and say, "Hey man, what do I do with it?" He said, "This is what you do: grab a pinch of this, a little bit of that, sprinkle, put it in here for this amount of seconds, put in that, and cut."
Yeah.
Boom. I was just like, he gave me $400 worth of information in like 2 minutes, and this meat came out perfect. As long as you got a cast iron skillet,
simple too, right?
It actually is simple, but he makes his seasoning.
He makes all his own rubs,
everything,
all his seasoning, all his sauces, anything that has a sauce.
Doesn't measure it. He just knows what goes with what. He'll shake it, give it a little taste. Not enough this, not enough that.
I mean, man, he made us tomahawks. They were unbelievable. His brisket, I'm telling you, like, I butchered this brisket cutting it up. Like, I'm gonna have to take another class again on cutting brisket because I felt so bad because it was that damn good.
Yeah.
And like, could have cut it off, got all the burn ends, all that stuff. Like, this guy is absolutely amazing at what he does. And his beans. I never thought I would brag about somebody's beans. His beans, and they don't have meat in them. They have bacon. Well, they have bacon.
Yeah.
But, like, my dad had a famous recipe that has all kinds of, like, hamburger meat and all this stuff in the beans.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's still amazing to me. But Mark's beans, they're unreal. My wife's still trying to convince him to bottle his barbecue sauce that he puts on very few things. And I'm telling you, it's one of the best barbecue sauce he had. I'm challenging him. I want him to make. There was a company that made salsa that we found for years called Haverwood, smoky sweet salsa.
Yeah.
We ordered a case, and apparently the guy died, went bankrupt. I don't know, but you can't get this stuff anymore. And it's the best salsa you've ever had in your life. It's the best thing for breakfast tacos you've ever had.
I wonder where it was from.
It was from here locally in Texas. In Texas, I want to say like San Antonio.
Okay, yeah.
I want to say like San Antonio area. But yeah, it's unbelievable. I'm also going to give out a shout out to AJ. AJ hooked everybody up, and for any of you that don't know, and you can tell I'm trying to get some more sponsors on this show, but Stitch Fix, check that out. My buddy AJ runs their big Dallas facility. We got to go to the friends and family, so if you come to ICC, you might see people wearing the same shirts or pants or shorts. It's happening a lot lately since everybody went to this, but we got to go to the friends and family deal. Every shirt, pants, shorts, jackets, purses, $5 or $10.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we filled up trash bags of new clothes.
And they've probably only been worn like 2 or 3 times.
They've never been worn.
Oh, the ones they just didn't.
Yeah, didn't sell.
Oh, okay.
Some of them,
the ones they were like returned after
there's
they've been
the
worn.
damaged rack that like isn't one of the shirts I bought said it had pet hair on it. There wasn't a single thing on this shirt.
Right.
One of them had a deodorant stain on the side where someone tried it on, didn't like the shirt. I was like, cool, I'll throw it and wash it for $5.
I got one of them.
Yeah.
And it was in the washer immediately.
I mean, I had the same shirt Vince wearing. I almost wore that today. Like, this would have been real bad.
I saw your shirt. I noticed it earlier.
Yeah, we would have had, just got the memo.
Yeah.
You're talking about my wife got a pair of $380 shoes. $380. And they were
Kate Spade purses, $200 to $300 a piece for $10. I mean, insane.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, shout out to AJ for hooking that up. Hopefully, Stitch Fix needs some podcast to sponsor or something.
Yeah, Stitch Fix. It's cool. I mean, I know some buddies that use it. So.
Yeah, it's cool. I didn't really know what it was at first. My wife knew what it was. I didn't know what it was. I've never done subscription clothing stuff. Yeah. That's really weird to me.
I understand it, but shit, I got so many freaking golf shirts already. I should make myself throw away 3 every time I buy one.
So is that hard to do? Because he says he does that with T-shirts, and I do a purge every other. Because my wife busted me out, so I DJ a lot, and so when I go out of town to DJ, and I never noticed this. I had this favorite shirt because it matched a certain pair of shoes that I love. And she's like, "Can you come here for a minute?" And she screenshotted 11 different events, and I had the same outfit on.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
And she's like, go in the closet, grab that shirt, and she put it, we have a, Goodwill pile or whatever.
Right.
And she's like, you're officially retiring.
Yeah, it's gone.
This shirt. You're like, but you just have some clothes that you just, because they fit you right or they just have a significance, and you just know. So when the Stitch Fix thing came, I said, I can finally refresh my closet because I normally shop like at Men's Warehouse or what's the other one?
Short and big.
No, not there anymore. I'm off of that one now. I'm good now.
He's on the whiskey weight loss now. He's making his come up.
So just certain places that you go, but you can go to Men's Warehouse and you came up, it was cheap. Nah, you're still spending $300 and you may only get 2 shirts, a pair of slacks, and half a blazer. Where you could have went, you went here for that same $300. I got enough clothes for me, the wife, and my oldest boy that's at home for at least a year.
Yeah,
it's crazy, but clothes shopping is just like. But golf shirts, they're so comfortable, and it's so hard to get rid of all the different.
I quit doing that. Like I used to buy a polo or a hat, and then I bought the pullovers like what you're wearing, and it got to where I had so many of them. I was like, I gotta quit doing this. So now I've switched all that. I do not buy. I mean, maybe once a year, I'll buy something like that if I just absolutely fall in love with it. But I buy the flags. If it's a good enough course that I want something, I buy the flag.
Yeah.
And then I have that as like my keepsake because then I don't have to worry about that. But
yeah, that's a good idea.
My little brother turned into a minimalist when he moved to California, and I took note of how he was living his life, and I was like looking at my closet, and I was like, this is absolutely ridiculous. So, and now that I also do Adrian's Cigar and Guns, they do a T-shirt club, and I get a T-shirt every month from them.
Oh, yeah?
So that's adds cool. A T-shirt once a month. So I've now gone from twice a year to 4 times a year I go to Salvation Army. And if I actually go buy a shirt or pants, it's either a 1-to-1 or a 2-to-1. I go pull 2 things I haven't worn in a while.
Yeah.
And it goes to Salvation Army.
Yeah.
Or whatever charity's picking up in the neighborhood, whatever type deal like that. So I try to balance it that way because I got to a point where I was watching my brother. He moved to Hawaii from California and lived in a van for like 6 to 8 months. So he literally got down to where he had like 6 T-shirts, 6 long sleeve shirts, 2 hoodies, 3 or 4 pairs of pants, 3 or 4 pairs of shorts. Yeah. And I was like, if you made me do that, I think I would like lose my mind. I don't know how you could do that. Like, I don't think I could do it. But I took from that and kind of like, all right, let's modify this down. Like, I don't need 60 T-shirts. Like, 60 T-shirts. I haven't worn all 60 of these T-shirts in a calendar year. Yeah. So started weeding that out and going down that road.
It's sometimes it takes a lot of work. It's hard to like go, man, I don't know. I feel like I'm going to wear this again. And but you just got to do it, man. Because I have probably 50 or more T-shirts, and they're just piled on a shelf in my closet, and I just take the top layer. I mean, I just take the 3 or 4 that
you wear the most.
They're there, and they get washed, and they get put back on top, and there we are. You know? Or it's something nice in our T-shirt, but it's like my favorite. Like you were saying, earlier, it's one of my favorites, and I wear it all the time, and you don't even realize it. So
that happens a lot. I'm a creature of habit, so I have to be careful that my wife will point, same way Biz did, she'll point that out like, you've worn that same T-shirt like to the last 2 events or whatever, and I'm like, you're probably right. Like, really, you remember that I wore that? I don't. To me, I don't even. That's not something I think about.
I used to remember that kind of stuff. I wore this. I don't know. As I gotten older, I don't remember that because I think I realized that people
don't pay that much attention.
Most people aren't going to remember what you wore. Yeah. So you don't need to really worry about it. You know what I mean? So
I've kind of gotten to the same way, but women do not ever get out of that mode. I don't think.
No. I experience every time we got to go somewhere. It's did I wear this before? I need to get something different. All that stuff.
All right. Well, you got anything else you want to grill me about? I mean, you seem like you wanted to like ask me some like good industry questions. I'll give you a chance before we drop the like common sense good questions on you.
No, I was just gonna ask you, about some of your stuff going on in your life. You're about your house and all that stuff. Because I know y'all moved a couple years ago.
Yeah, we moved when we were living out in Savannah off 380. Yeah. We moved about 2 years ago. I couldn't, when they announced the PGA was coming, 380 was already a nightmare.
Yeah.
I knew what was coming, and there was no way I could take any more of that. Like, I hear about it now, and I'm like, I'm so glad. I haven't been north on 380 and west past the tollway, but maybe once in the last 2 years since I moved from there.
Well, you're better off for it.
I stay south of the PGA.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I definitely want to go check it out. I've been hearing everybody brag about it, talk about it. But, yeah, we did that. We moved to Plano a couple years ago. Love it. I can be anywhere fast with as much as I travel and around the Metroplex for work.
Yeah.
A lot more convenient. My wife and I go out a lot. So we don't have kids. So it's a lot nicer having like a $10 to $20 Uber ride to pretty much anywhere.
Yeah.
Versus $40, $50 each way, sitting in traffic in an Uber from 380.
No, let's just go to dinner tonight.
Yeah, we're staying at the house.
Yeah.
Like, I'm out on that. So yeah, it's a lot nicer.
That's cool. No, but I wanted to just say, man, it's been good to see you kind of come in the industry as a younger guy, and you always were always super friendly to me and nice to me.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's just good to see you grow, and I didn't know even you had this side of you. You know, you were talking about your writing earlier, and I didn't even know you had this side of you. So it's really cool to see that, because you just see people, and you can pick up stuff on social media and stuff, which is great now, and you get to know a little bit more about people, but you don't really know them. Just by watching that.
No, likewise, man. I really appreciate that. Like I said, you've always been somebody I've looked up to in the industry, just because I've seen you and you do it well.
Yeah, well, thanks.
And you're a part of everything, and I know how important that is in this industry. So, yeah, man. Cheers to you on that.
But it's been cool, because I mean, I knew that this would be fun, and
it's fun. You know, I mean, how many times have you thought about that? There's a camera there, and that we're actually live.
Like, you don't. Maybe about like a minute or two in.
Yeah, early on.
And well, like at first I didn't even realize it. Then like I caught myself like, oh yeah, there is. Yeah. And then I kind of got this, a little bit of a nervous feeling, and I'm like, But what I was gonna say is I don't do like public speaking stuff really great. I do a lot of stuff. And I'm out there, but
I totally disagree with you.
I don't like to do that. You know what I mean? So and I get a little bit anxious about it, but I was not anxious about this at all, because
that's cool.
I just felt like we had a lot in common, and
and
it was just one of those things that we would just end up talking about. It would just be a conversation, because that's what we have like when I see you.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what's nice about it. You sit down with a cigar, some bourbon.
Yep.
You can sit here, have a conversation, and share stories, and hopefully people learn some things from it and get to see a little more of the behind the scenes in the industry, or whatever the topic is for the day. So that was really kind of the whole purpose behind doing this, because it was like I was having these conversations with people and felt like people needed to have that shared. So,
I think it's cool.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I would have gotten, I don't know now, I haven't been asked to do any like public speaking in a while, and that used to terrify me.
Yeah.
But I see you going up and like accepting awards for things, and being up there with all the committees, and you're in the industry magazines, and you get to go speak.
Yeah, and most of that is, FaceTime stuff. But, I mean, you do have to talk in some of it, and it's not my favorite thing to do. I don't mind, like, a public speaking or doing, like, a sales presentation. But sometimes it's just when it's, like, your direct peers.
And they're all watching you?
Yeah. Then you get a little... some anxiety there, a little nervous about
I completely understand.
It's like, they're judging me. They're like
in your industry.
They're not, they're just kind of like, they're probably judging me just like I would be judging them. You know what I mean? So you get a little uptight.
It's absolutely like that. I mean, I get it. When we did the sneak peek at the music part that we're going to add to the podcast, that was the first time my wife was like there live in the room while I was interviewing and talking with people. I'm not gonna lie, for the first like 2 minutes, like I was totally like, 'cause I mean, she's probably watching and listening right now,
Yeah.
And that doesn't bother me at all. Like, you know, like I don't even think about it. But like
she was here.
But when she was like right there, sitting there, I was like,
Yeah.
God, did she like analyze me? Like, how many things did I mess up? Did I
Right.
say something wrong?
Yeah.
Like, and you do that amplified when it's your peers.
Oh, sure.
You know, like if they're all right there versus like here, we can sit down and this is like, you know, really easy. It's just like
Yeah.
if you and I were sitting at the bar
Yeah.
having a conversation, you know, like this is what we would be doing and chatting about
It
this
felt
kind
no
of stuff.
different than that the whole
Yeah,
time. You know what I mean?
exactly.
Really, it was like a couple times I was like, oh, yeah, we are just having a conversation and there's really whatever.
Yeah, it's funny.
fine.
People ask me like, well, what all are we going to talk about? I was like, your story. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
like we're not.
Once
I'm
I heard
not,
that
I'm
from
not
you,
TMZ.
I was like, all right, I know where we're going. And
Yeah.
I watched several of your podcasts too.
Oh, thank you.
And so I'd seen them before, and then
Yeah.
once I knew I was going to be on, I watched a few, and so
Yeah.
I kind of that made me feel better. Like, I'm not going to have to talk about anything important, so I didn't. And that's one
Yeah.
of the things I probably do better. But sometimes, well, I'm not going to say it. Sometimes if you just don't kind of over prepare and just be ready, that's
And you
what
just
it
have a
takes.
conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
you've already
I
done
don't
all
want
the
to
work.
say not to prepare a little bit, but
Yeah.
I didn't really prepare much. I mean, it was just like, hey, I'm prepared to talk about how I got in the industry and stuff
Right,
like
but
that.
when you
And-
first started selling,
yeah,
you
yeah.
prepared, you really like did research on your
Oh, yeah, yeah, for
prospect,
sure.
all that. But nowadays, you don't do that.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
no.
you do
Well,
enough.
I do, but I'm just talking about
A little.
when I do public speaking. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to over prepare. I just want to talk.
Because, yeah, if you're trying to read from a script
Yeah.
or you rehearse things a little
Yeah.
bit and you kind of like know in your head where you want to go.
But when you're
with
first starting
something.
out, you have to over prepare. Like,
You have to, but I mean, it's nice when you get to that and you evolve. Like, that's like a stepping stone. Like, you kind of get to the point where
You
do a certain amount of research where you know what they're looking for, what their portfolio is, what you
Yeah.
know, all these things in our industry. You do that to a certain degree, but you don't overdo it because you're gonna if you talk less and listen more
So
when
true.
you're sitting there, you're going to hear what their real needs are, what they're wanting, what they're looking for, not what you think they're looking for or what you think you want to sell them. Sometimes there's a transition. You know, I get these calls sometimes and like, I don't know everything about construction. And there's times, I mean, like I still 15 years in learn stuff all the time. And I'll have a client call me and ask a specific question like, hey, have you ever heard about this? Or what about this product? Hey, I don't know. I mean, I'm happy. I know some people. I can find out.
Yeah.
I'll get back to you and kind of go that. Find out why they're asking about that product or why they're wanting to look at something a different way. And now you're opening up that actual what the opportunity is
Oh, yeah.
versus coming in with your elevator pitch or your sales pitch and just trying to
Yeah.
go at them with that. Like that doesn't.
Yeah.
As
I
you
mean,
grow in the sales industry, you kind of
That's-
like see that evolve.
the way we train our people, and this is the way I was trained, 25 years ago. You like over prepare them. They need to know the product, and we spend a lot of time on our demo and our PowerPoint and having
Yeah.
to do all that. And the reality of it is, you get out there and you get in front of a manager, or you happen to find a regional manager there at the same time, and you might just get thrown into your opportunity, and you have to listen. But if you have all the knowledge that you've learned from preparing for that demo
Yeah.
over and over, it starts coming out as you start hearing the key points.
Yeah.
Okay, I know I can help her with that, or I know I can help him with that.
Mm-hmm.
If you have that knowledge and you listen, you know when to pull it out. So you don't have to be like a slick salesman. I certainly am not. Never have been. And most of our most successful reps aren't the slickest salespeople. They're just people that work hard.
Yeah.
And listen, and then
How
they
can I
succeed.
deliver what you
Yeah,
need?
yeah, and that's all they do. They deliver what they need.
Yeah,
Totally.
absolutely. All right. Well, I'm going to ask you. We're going to go through. I'm glad
Oh,
you
this
had.
is our speed round session?
Yeah, a little bit. Business favorite part too, I think.
Okay, shit. I better be on my game.
I mean,
might
this
need
should
just
be
a
really
little,
easy.
a little hint of something.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Get what you want.
If we have time.
What's up, Chase? Good to see you on here, man. We need to hook up. I need to get that's somebody biz we're gonna get on here. We're gonna get Chase with my buddy Brad. Chase is going to have to put his strong arm on Brad and get Brad to come on here with him. I think with Chase's moral support, Brad will come on here. And we might get kicked off the internet once or twice during that episode.
Bring it on.
I'm willing to bet because Brad is that friend of mine that he is the best outspoken, most spoken person I know. Like, he literally had a page, and when he got banned from Facebook, they reached out and told him, if you take down that page, we'll unban you. You know what his page was?
I'm curious.
I was anti-Obama before anti-Obama was cool. That was literally his page. No, like, he had a page on Facebook.
That's crazy.
But yeah, Brad will drop some good stuff on here for sure. All right,
hit me up.
So, you have kids.
Yeah.
2, right? Boy and a girl?
Boy and a girl.
All right. If you could leave your kids with one piece of advice, only one,
gosh,
what would that piece of advice be?
I don't know. That's pretty hard. That's a pretty deep question for me just to think about. I'd rather think of a deeper answer, you know. But I mean, you got to work hard. You just have to. You work hard, and nothing comes easy. But if you work hard and want to succeed, you'll find a way. That's all. I mean, I don't know what else to tell them. I could give you a much deeper answer if I had time to think about it. But on the spot, that's it.
No, and that's perfectly
it's
good
something
answer.
It's crazy because I think about the legacy I'm gonna leave on with my kids all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's almost every other thought in my brain. Honestly, that's how much I think about it. But because I feel like there's so much they need to learn, and it's just weird. You know, I didn't grow up with a lot. You know.
Yeah.
And I think a lot that like I learned a lot just by working my way through college and doing all that and working, because I had to freaking pretty much do everything I had to do it, you know.
Yeah.
And we hand our kids so much these days because I want a better life. I want a better life for them, right? But
yeah.
I have a really damn good life. I love my life. You know what I mean? I totally love my life. But I went through some hard times to get here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like
everybody did.
Yeah. I was like, so if I just hand it to them, are they gonna
appreciate it?
Are they gonna appreciate it, or not? Worse than that, maybe just not maybe piss it away, or not. Yeah. Not know how to earn something yourself. You know? Yeah. Because if you don't know how to earn something yourself, you'll never amount to much, right? I mean, so.
No, absolutely. We talked about that a little bit. There's another friend of mine I want to get on that's a custom home builder. Yeah. And I talked about this too. I think the world is in for a world of hurt in the next decade, because if a lot of these things aren't changed, in my industry, I'll be generous and say you have a whole lot of company owners of high-end trades that do the work themselves and have teams under them, but have built companies such as high-end carpenters, trim carpenters, framers, roofers, drywall guys, painters, plumbers, electricians, HVAC guys, that these guys grew up doing the work, mastering their trade, skill. We don't teach these kids trades or skills, and or if you do, they don't want to do them. Yeah. Like, they want to inherit dad's company and the money, but they don't want to do the work. Right. So where are we going to be in 10 years when the 55 to 65-year-old guys say, I can't physically do this work anymore and babysit you, and it's time I want to enjoy the rest of my life and I want to retire? Where is the U.S. going to be? Who is going to do this physical work in the next decade? Because nobody values that. They want to make money doing TikToks and podcasting and
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Not that there's anything wrong with that,
Yeah.
but like, this isn't my day job.
Yeah. No, I know.
You know, like,
But they think that you can start,
doing that and just make millions of dollars, and I'm going to be
not that easy.
social media influencer.
Everyone's doing it.
They don't want to
doing it.
actually do work. They want
No.
instant gratification.
Yeah.
So
Somebody's got to do the hard work.
Yes, somebody has to, and we don't make it easy for foreigners to come into the country anymore, and we create all these issues. So I think it's a big problem that really needs to be addressed, because I think we're going to be up shit's creek here real soon.
Yeah.
And figuring out how that works, because there's nobody to do that work at a certain point, or you're going to have this really subgrade work. And I think we're starting to see a lot of that with the customer service, with the amount of like ability to get stuff done at a higher quality, not just acceptable quality.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, you've seen that lesson over the last few years of just, well, that's it. That's the best I can do. Like, well, I paid for X, like that's not it. I mean, whether it's your furniture and how it's built, how it's put together, or how your drywall's done, how your texture's done, how your painting's done. I mean, all these things. I mean, but when you watch one of these guys come in that's truly a master of the craft, like I got a guy in Arizona, you watch this dude paint a property, it's the most amazing thing you've ever seen. Like, at first, you're going, what in the hell is taking these guys so long? How are they using this much sundries like tape, paper,
right.
Stuff like that? And they're spraying the outside of the buildings. They're literally taping and paper off everything for days. Mm-hmm. But then they come through, and it's bad. They pull all that shit. There is no overspray. Their lines are clean.
Yeah.
It looks amazing. But they're not going to pay for that most of the time. And like, that's one crew out of the 12 that I have.
Right.
And that guy's only really in Arizona. So like, I'd love to bring him and like, hey, can you bring and start other crews in Dallas and train them to do it that way? Because that's amazing.
Yeah.
But when that stuff stops happening, I mean, I think you're going to see that. So I think, even though you said if you had more time, I think your message was very clear and very to the point and right on. Like, the younger generations, you want to instill that in them and want them to learn that, like, you have to put in work. I think, all these participation trophies and rewarding everybody, whether for failures and successes, like, there's a lot to be learned from failing. Yeah. Like, we've all failed at things in life.
Oh, yeah, for
and
sure.
you learn a lot from that. Like, it's only a failure if you don't learn the lessons. So that's, I think that was right on.
And, I think my kids are hard workers, so
that's awesome.
They're off to the right start, I believe,
Yeah, hell yeah. That's awesome, man. All right, now's the final question. Then you're off the hook.
Okay.
So we let everybody do this at the end of our show. So if you made it all the way to this show, you know the question.
Okay. I don't. Yeah, I know the question.
All right. He's good. He's ready. I like that. So this can be based off of your experience tonight, something you've had on your chest, something you just want to say, but it's called Common Sense, so you get to give us your 2 cents. It could be about anything. It doesn't have to be about anything specific. It could be about anything you just want to say, you feel inclined to say, something you want to get out there, something you want to put out there. You got to give your 2 cents.
All right, well, this is not too deep, and we don't have a lot of time anyway, I think.
That's fine. You're good.
So, but no, this is something that's totally top of mind. It's no big deal, but teaching my son to drive, and he took his driver's test this past Saturday, and he passed.
Awesome.
He got like a 97 out of 100.
There you go.
He did good, but he still has to go. He still has to go to the DPS. So he took a third-party driving test, and he passed that. They have an appointment to ride or to do it like June 1st. Anyway, but I had to take him. I bought him a truck so he could learn how to drive on that truck and everything like that. So he's kind of feel like he's hot shot right now.
I love the fact that your kid wanted to get his license and is doing all that, because my nephews didn't have their license for a while, and they didn't care. They're like, we can just Uber here,
that's normal.
whatever.
Okay. Maybe that could be
Our generation wanted that license as fast as possible.
That could be my 2 cents. I could go off on all that. But yeah, our generation the day you hit 16, you had your license and you were gone. You know,
Yeah.
if you didn't find a hardship reason to get it before.
Yeah.
But that's weird. That's the weird thing, though. You know, everything a kid needs is like right here on their freaking phone. You know what I mean? So they're not dying to go out and drive somewhere because
It's not the freedom card it used to be.
Yeah, and you know, my parents both worked, and your parents probably both worked and stuff. And so if you wanted to go somewhere, you had to learn to drive. Shit, we drove our bicycles freaking
everywhere,
10 or 15 miles to go to places in Houston, Texas, when it wasn't like a really great area either. But we did it. It was fun.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot from that, you know.
Right?
So,
I'll sidetrack you there.
Yeah, I totally got freaking
You're good.
off on a rant. So,
yeah. So your 2 cents.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it was about Jake anyway. He freaking thinks he had it all made. So, because he passed his test.
Yeah.
And, we were pulling out earlier. I was taking him to his golf lesson in his car, and he was driving. And right around our alley where you pull onto like the main street of where we live, he basically pulled out almost right in front of somebody, and I'm like, stop, you know, just a lot louder than that, because he thought it was a 4-way stop.
Yeah.
And I just like, you got to pay attention, man. You just got to people just have to pay attention. I know that's not a 2 cents take, but that's what's on top of my mind. It kind of rattled me because if I wouldn't have been there, he would have pulled right in front of him. But that was kind of on top of my mind. But hopefully he'll get better. Yeah.
I'm sure he will.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's done that once or twice.
Oh yeah,
especially early on.
Yeah. You just can't get too confident with what's around you.
Absolutely. Well, man, I want to thank you for coming on the show.
Absolutely.
Thanks for being here.
Maybe I can do it again sometime.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll.
Definitely. We'll have you back. Maybe we'll get some other industry people in here, and we'll do a big round table. We can get a couple others in here, and we'll round table some industry stuff. And those of you that have been asking for it, you get to come on and maybe y'all want to grill us. I don't know. Like maybe we'll put some kind of round table together and do that.
Yeah, I mean, if we could get that together, I would.
I know Darnell wants to do another one.
Market it out too, and get people really interested. So
absolutely,
especially now that I know. Yeah, it's cool. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in this week. I hope you enjoyed it. I do have a special announcement for next week. I don't know if it's really special, but we are not going to be on here on Tuesday. We have some conflicts on Tuesday, so instead of it being on Tuesday, because we don't want you to have to go a whole nother week, we're going to do it on Monday. So next week, Monday, 6 p.m., we'll be ready to rock and roll. Biz isn't going out of town this weekend, so and I don't think anybody's got it booked before us. So we'll be on here ready to fire, ready to bring it to you guys. I got one of my really funny buddies. He's the plumber that never gets dirty coming on here. Mr. Keith Powers. So we'll be bringing him on next week and should be good. If you're a fan of Florida's Georgia Line, you're really going to love this show because he's all about that Florida Georgia Line. But tune in next week. We'll see you Monday, 6 o'clock. Hope you guys enjoyed the show.